Hi, I'm Jessie. Welcome to this video. I'm going to talk through drawing Hank today, this wonderful pug, and we're going to focus on form. So let's talk about shape recognition. So, for example, a tree has a particular silhouette. It has particular clues that help it identify it as a tree, a simple outline. For example, it has branches. In the silhouette, you might be able to see the branches, you might be able to see the edges of the leaves, you might be able to see the trunk. All these simple features, characteristics help us identify it as a tree. And we don't even need to see the details. We can simply see that simple outline, that simple silhouette, and that helps us identify the thing as a tree. So it's quite clever, really. Our instinctive recognition allows us to partly see and partly expect what's to come. So when we are drawing something and we focus on the shape, it has particular characteristics that help identify it. For example, this pug has ears. So it has these two ears and a rounded head. This gives away that it potentially could be a dog, especially with the more rounded ears at the top. And if we go even further than that, we can identify most likely the breed of the dog because pugs have quite short heads, they're quite thick, their heads, they have quite rounded ears. And if I had drawn the body, that really would have given it away. So, pugs are quite distinctive in their silhouette as well. So just by the outline, I can clearly see that this would be a dog. And like I said, if you took it a step further, you would be able to identify it as a pug. Those distinctive rolls on the side of the pug would give it away. So identifying form is quite important to be able to do that. And we can, if you train the eye, and we don't even need to train the eye, it's instinctive really. Our eye is able to pick up the silhouette of objects pretty well and quickly identify what it is. Our recognition system can be persuaded to interpret particular shapes as three-dimensional. This paper is clearly flat, but I can manipulate an arrangement of lines and marks to give the illusion that it's 3D. So the particular arrangement of lines on this pug can convince the viewer that it's 3D. So I'm being really careful with my lines. So on the forehead, between the eyes, I've deliberately curved the lines to give the illusion that that part of the head is rounded, to give the illusion that there's a fold of skin there. So in between the eyes, you can look at the lines, and the lines aren't straight. The majority of them are slightly curved. And this tells the viewer, okay, there's form there. It's bent, it's rounded, it's not straight. So how you arrange your lines is really important. Even on that side of the head I'm doing now, on the right, I am changing the direction of the lines to help give form that it's rounded there. The forehead is slightly rounded, it is not flat. So is this image 3D? No, it's not. It's flat. This is completely flat. I'm just manipulating the lines and the shading to help give the illusion that it's 3D. So the effect of light and shade is so familiar to us in photographs and film that we can recognize this shape as a dog. So getting the combination of light, dark, and medium tones can help us interpret a particular shape. So with the pencil and pen, I'm actually creating darker areas and I'm creating lighter areas, and this manipulation of the light helps to create form. So you can create form by the marks and the lines, the direction and the shape of them, and by light and dark as well. As you can see, I also use some cross hatching in this drawing. So underneath the chin, there's quite a lot of cross hatching there, and also on the ears, I've included some cross hatching. So an Italian painter called Giorgio Morandi had a particular vision for form, and he actually used a lot of cross hatching. He focused mainly on still objects, and he was so good with this cross hatching, he could really create the illusion of dark and light. Um, and it's just so lovely. I do love the cross hatching look. I think it's actually really, really effective. The texture that cross hatching creates is just beautiful. So I do try to include cross hatching where I can in my drawings. On the collar here, I've included some cross hatching as well. But I think it adds texture and flavor to the drawing. Um, it's important, obviously, to get those lines to follow the direction of the fur, but sometimes it's quite nice to add in some cross hatching. It's particularly effective for creating contrast between light and dark. So as you'll see, I tend to use, not always, but I tend to use a lot of cross hatching for darker areas. Um, and then I increase the spaces between my lines as I move away from the dark areas to create lighter areas. So Giorgio Morandi, you should look at some of his artwork and check out his cross hatching technique. It's really quite stunning, and he does it so well. And the contrast between light and dark is so dramatic. So I do try and include some cross hatching when I can in my drawings, and I think it's something I would like to include more. Another artist called Otto Greiner, I think I said his name correctly. I believe he's a German painter, and he's more of a classical artist, and he can produce beautiful effects with shading. So if you look at some of his artwork, I think a lot of his subjects are usually people. If you look at his artwork, some lines on the drawing tend to follow the contours of the shape. So I'm looking at a picture of a man right now that was drawn by Otto Greitner, and I'm looking at the knees, and the lines that he has drawn follow the contour of the shape of the form. So just like the pug, my lines tend to follow the contour of the shape, again creating that wonderful effect of uh, that wonderful illusion of 3D. However, sometimes his lines will also go across the form, which is equally as effective. But you have to get the balance correct, and I think it takes a lot of practice. So using lines to go around shapes, so around the contours. So, for example, in the pug example, between the eyes, I'm using the lines to go around, so to follow the contour of the object. But also you can use lines to go across. So with the cross hatching underneath the chin, my line's actually going across form. And it's quite effective to use the two, and it creates a really natural, beautiful look as well. A really nice exercise to practice form is to pick a subject and to draw it from multiple different angles. You get a feel of the different lines and marks that you would have to make in that shape, and it's just a really fantastic practice. So if you want to draw a dog, I would pick a dog like a pug, and I would get multiple pictures of the pug. I mean, if you have a dog yourself, you could just take loads of pictures of your dog from multiple different angles, and it doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have to put loads of detailed work into it, but get the outline done. So you remember we were talking about the shape, the instinctive recognition, shape recognition at the beginning. So get that silhouette, basically that simple outline drawn for all of them, and then you can go in, so block in the outline, the main shapes, and then go in, add in a tiny bit of detail, and that detail will really help to create form. So you want to focus on the direction of your lines. You want to think about what kind of style you want. Do you want more of a Giorgio Morandi with the cross hatching, or do you want more of a Otto Greiner look with the classical light and dark shading effect, or a combination of both, like I've done here? Do you want to just use pencil? Do you want to introduce a pen? I think if you're practicing, just focus with pencil first. So pick an object, draw it from 5 different angles, and focus on your form. Focus on creating form. Focus on the illusion of 3D. Can you make a flat piece of paper look 3D? Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you picked up some tips about form. Leave a comment below, like the video. Thank you so much for watching this. I really appreciate it. You can follow me on Instagram as well. The links all below. Yeah, have a great day, evening, afternoon. Bye for now, guys. Thanks.